Hey guys, this is Ivan from PARSIQ, and today we'll be talking about PARSIQ API and SDK. So let me share my camera as well. Here we go. And yeah, let us start. So what we'll be talking about today is how to get blockchain data using PARSIQ Tsunami API and PARSIQ SDK. So first of all, let's mention a few things about why we might need that. So obviously all the dApps and analytics and trading guys, they need data. You need data to power your dashboards, to power your interfaces, to analyze the trading trends, to use it for your machine learning models. And apparently, though blockchain data is publicly available, anyone can run a node and get all the data, but apparently it's not that easy to get the data with the desired speed, reliability and customization, because like nodes don't store it in the format very suitable for reading it. And in order to get the data quickly and reliably, you will need some other solutions. So these solutions vary. There are data indexes, there are RPC nodes, and then there are solutions such as the Graph or PARSIQ data lakes that provide custom data. But in any case, you will need to choose the one you need, and you will need to know how to use it. So that's what we're here for today. Also, I believe I'm not sharing the correct window right now, so let me fix that. I will add this one. Sorry for the inconvenience. Sometimes it doesn't work the way you expect. Almost none of the times it does, apparently. Okay, so you should be able to see the correct window right now. Oh no, it's not the right one. So let me try again. We will be talking about PARSIQ Tsunami API today, and I'll be sharing insights on how to get data using PARSIQ Tsunami API and PARSIQ SDK. So then what's the difference between API and SDK? We will be taking a deeper look into that in this workshop, but the basic difference is that with Tsunami API you get raw data such as blocks, transactions and other stuff, events for instance, transfers, ERC20 transfers, NFT transfers and other stuff. And with SDK, you're getting process data. So in case you need, for instance, balances, you will need to use SDK. So for balances, we have pre-existing data lake, a balances data lake, which is already there. But in case you need, for instance, TVLs for the protocol of your choice, or APYs, or let's say you have some kind of voting system and you need to count votes. In that case, you will need to get Tsunami PARSIQ SDK. So let's dive into it. And here we have this our website where you can find all the desired links. So we'll start with the docs, and I'll show you how to get information about particular events on the blockchain using PARSIQ Tsunami API. So before we go into the practical part, let me share a bit more on the theoretical part. So apparently there are additional challenges when getting blockchain data. So even if you use ready-to-go solutions such as data indexes, for instance, I don't know, PARSIQ or any of our competitors, you will face challenges such as data consistency, because in some cases some transactions are being missed by the databases. Also, you will need to make sure that you're getting the data as soon as you need it, because sometimes there are latencies and stuff. And also you will need to make sure that you're getting data consistently on all the chains that you work with, because all the chains, even if we're talking about EVM chains, which are pretty similar, and even in that case there are some differences that might lead to inconveniences. And so at PARSIQ we are aware of all these challenges, and we try to make it as easy for our users as possible. And also we put a great emphasis on data reliability and data consistency. So let's go to the docs. Yes, sorry, it's really hard to work with this video sharing software. I will try to put my face. Yeah, I don't really think it's necessary, so we'll go for the full screen sharing right now. All right, so let's dive into the docs. I've prepared an example for us to be able to see all the possibilities that we have. So there is a smart contract I deployed on Ethereum Sepolia test network, and this is a pretty simple example. It's a voting system. We will share all the links in the separate article, and also you can find all the links in the description of the video. So you will find the smart contract, you will find all the links to PARSIQ docs, repositories and stuff, so you don't need to worry about that right now. All the time showing, you will have it. So let's talk about this smart contract first. It's a pretty simple one. So we have a voting system that has candidates with IDs, names and vote count. And we can add candidates using add candidate function that also emits a new candidate event which provides the name and the ID of the candidate. And then there is a vote function which allows anybody to vote for a desired candidate just once from one address, and it emits the vote event which provides candidate ID. So the events is the things that we will be tracking, and let's start using Tsunami API. So in order to get your API key, you can go just here to parsiq.net. You can see the docs here, you can see the SDK docs here, you can sign up here. So let's start with the docs, and let's start with fundamental data. So we have a lot of stuff here. We have fundamental data such as events and function calls. We have we can query separate blocks, separate transactions, transfers, meaning ETH transfers or ERC20 transfers or NFT transfers. We can see contracts created and destroyed, and all that flow of time and energy. And also we can see NFT API and balances API here. So this is a basic Tsunami API, which, as I have said, provides raw data that is present in the blocks. It will be important later. And this is our Web3 custom APIs. So an NFT API that provides NFT holdings, and balances API that provides ERC20 holdings. And for now, we'll be starting with fundamental data, get events, to see all add candidate and vote events on this smart contract. Okay, So it already has a simple guide here. You can follow it. But right now we'll dive straight into the action, choosing Sepolia test network. You can see all the networks supported for this particular endpoint right here. And we will need to just provide the address of the contract of interest and the topic 0 of the event of interest. So let's start with the address. It's right here. I'm copy pasting it. Also, make sure that you specify the correct block range, because by default it's from 10,000 blocks back, but we will need to track it from the first block because I deployed the contract and I emitted the events some time ago already. Okay, and now the only thing we will need on top of that is topic 0, which specifies the type of the event. To find the topic 0, you can find it when you compile your own contract on your own, or if we're talking about the contract that is already deployed and verified on Etherscan, you can find it here in contract section. So this is basically the Etherscan page of this contract section. And yeah, so also we will need an API later, but right now we will need just to go to transactions and to get the topic 0 of the desired event. So let's start with add candidate events. We can go here to logs and we will see topic 0 right here. I'm putting it, I'm putting it here in topic 0. Obviously you can filter by some other topics, like in that example, for instance, in case you want to find out when a particular candidate like Ashok the Great was added, then you may specify topic 1 and topic 2 or whatever you need as well. Okay, so let's run the query. I believe I have everything set up correctly here. Yeah, and it's good that we have API key is expired here, because we can actually discuss what to do if that happens. That's pretty simple. We go to our profile. So I have my pro profile here. I have a bunch of computational units, and I will regenerate my API key, copy it. Well, you will have like about half an hour of this workshop to reuse my key if you manage to see it on the screen, but I hope you won't do that. So let's go back to our events page. Let's put my API key, the new one, the regenerated one here. Yeah, and I believe I will need to repeat the process with topic 0 and the address of the contract. So topic 0 is this one, and contract address is this one. And let's run the query. Yeah, as I have said, we will need also to specify the correct block range, because yeah, and the correct network obviously as well. Okay, so I believe you are able to see all the events here. So this is the response. We got all the necessary information about the events that we might need, which is topics, also block hash, also transaction hash, and all the other stuff, the origin, the contract, and all the other stuff. So using this endpoint, we will be able to get the data about all the add candidate and all the vote events that we need, and we can store it on our end, and we can do whatever we want with that. For instance, we can calculate the vote count using some kind of Python script, because we have all the data, right? But that won't be the best way to do that, because as I have mentioned earlier, we don't only have API, we also have SDK. And the difference between SDK and API is that API works only with raw data, while SDK allows you to store this data, process it, store the processed values, and then get them, and then implement whatever logic you want. Because like if you have your own smart contract, you know what values you want to calculate and to provide to the user or to use yourself, and you can implement that logic within what we call a data lake. And now I'll show you how to do that. So first of all, you will need to get the actual code, and it's here prepared for you. We will be sharing this link as well. So in this repository, we already have like 2 examples. We will be having more. And let me basically just clone this repository to my computer. So I have this PARSIQ demo folder, which is empty for now, because I wanted to show you how to do everything from scratch. So let's clone this repository and let's take a look at what we have here. So this README in the core folder is pretty basic. It just tells what it does. So we will need the READMEs for particular examples. So in our case, it's a voting example. So let's go to this README and we'll see what we can do here. Basically, let's just follow these steps and we'll get the data lake up and running. So first of all, we'll need to change Tsunami API key in data lake file, and I've already copied my Tsunami API key and I've already got it here, right? And now we have it in our file. So let's go through the whole file to understand what's happening here. So first of all, we might want to run npm install, as README says, to not be distracted by all these warnings by IDE, right? Yeah. Okay, now let's go through this file line by line. So here we have some imports. We're importing our SDK. Also, we're importing Tsunami client because our data lake will be calling Tsunami API to get the data. Then we will need Ethos project as well. And we will need the ABI of the smart contract of interest to make our data lake able to parse the events correctly. So as I have said, you can find the ABI if you compile a contract yourself, or if you take a look at it on Etherscan if it's verified. And I've already done that. I've just copy pasted this one from Etherscan and saved it in a separate JSON file, right? So we're inputting that JSON file here. Then we have our Tsunami API key. Yeah, and here I have to mention that when you're running a data lake, obviously you get in the data and you get in the data from PARSIQ Tsunami API. So you're running queries, so you're spending your computational units. So before you run a data lake, make sure you have enough computational units. Probably you have enough computational units on your free account for this simple use case, because it's not many events there. But if you're working with some more complicated use cases with some popular smart contracts, you will be needing more computational units, and make sure to get them. You can see it in your profile on parsiq.net, right? So next we're specifying the network, which in our case is Ethereum Sepolia test network. Then we're specifying the contract address, which we've already done with API, and we do the same with SDK, and the same for event topic zeros, right? So we will be taking a look at 2 kinds of events here: new candidate events and vote events. The next thing is contract deployment block number, because you don't need to run through the whole history, because you know that your contract was deployed at some point in time and you don't need to go through all the blocks before that. So in our case, it's like 4 million. And then let's go through the logic of our data lake. So it's a super simple one. So this step here, we define the layout of the database of our key value storage. So we will be storing candidates. They will have candidate ID, name, and number of votes. Also, that's it basically. We have a meta layout for more complicated cases, but we don't need it right now. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat, in the YouTube chat. Our team will be monitoring those questions, and they will tell me if you have any, because unfortunately I can't track the questions and run the workshop at the same time, but we will go for the questions at the end of it. So please, whatever you have in mind, share and ask. Then let's go and take a look at types for decoded events. So first, there is a new candidate event, which has candidate ID and name that we will be processing here in our data lake. And then there is a vote event which just has candidate ID, because we vote one vote at a time, and we just need to know for which candidate this vote is. Okay, basically like most of the code that you're seeing here is reusable. You won't be changing most of the parts of it. You probably will be changing only the parts that we mentioned today. So to do more complicated things, you will probably need like more complicated approach, but we'll cover more complicated use cases in the upcoming workshops and video demos and documentation and all the materials that we share with the community, because we are trying to be as connected with the community and as understood as possible. Okay, so the next thing we've seen here is the API. We've already provided this one. Then we have the initial block number, which is contract deployment block number that we've already discussed. Then we have this function that filters events, and to do that, we will need to provide the topic zeros, which we do here. So make sure to add your topic zeros that you specify here. And then we have this function that processes events. So it calls the corresponding process function for each type of the event. And we define these functions later, like right here. So we will be calling this function for new candidates, and this function for new votes. All right. So let's talk about this function first. We are providing it with topic 0 and topic 1, and then the most important part is here. It's how we process and store the data. So in case of new candidate event, all that we're doing is we're storing the information about this candidate on the in our database. We're storing it in key value storage. So the key will be our candidate ID, and the value will be the structure that holds candidate ID, name, and number of votes, and we initiate the record in the database with 0 number of votes, obviously, and then basically that's it. We're just storing the new candidate here. And the next thing we'll need to do is to process vote events. So how do we process them? We basically just increase the number of votes for the specified candidate. So we also provided with topic 0 and topic 1, and then this is where the magic happens. So we increase the number of votes for the specified candidate by one, and then we put this in the database. And yeah, since our use case is super simple, that's basically everything that's happening. And the other stuff that we have here, we don't need to change it right now. It's the same as in boilerplate project, so you can reuse it as well for your own use case. Okay, so now that we've discussed the logic of what's happening, we're just storing candidates and we're increasing their vote counts when there is a vote. Now let's run this thing. So let me open the README file again. So we've already ran npm install, though it was unnecessary. We did it just for our convenience. Also, make sure that you have Docker installed on your system. On Linux, it's done like this. I've already done that, so I'm not running this step. And the next step is to actually build the project. I believe I've entered my API key here. Okay, so in that case, I can just build it. Okay, so we will be running this thing within a Docker, and so let's start the Docker as well. To start it, we'll need to run this command here. Yeah, also I need to mention that Postgres sometimes works weirdly with the Docker, so we might need to just rerun this thing because it puts itself on pause, and then yeah, now you can see that the blocks are being processed actually, right? So let's take a look at what's happening here. So you can see new block received. Yeah, unfortunately, since it's running in real time, I'm not able to stop it right now. But yeah, it's all the information about new blocks and the events that were processed and all this stuff. So the next step for us would be to take a look at the database, because the database is actually where we have all the data that we need, right? So I need to mention that for data lakes, there are basically at least two options. You can build your own data lake using our SDK and run it on your own end, and you will need just Tsunami calls from PARSIQ, right? You will just call Tsunami, but all the logic and all the storage will be done on your end, and in that case you will be able to get the data in your own database and then use it as you wish, right? But also then there is an option of asking us to build a data lake for you. We can build a data lake for your project so that you won't need to worry about speed and reliability and building costs and maintenance costs and developer time and learning how to work with it. So we just do it for you. We run it on our premises, and we provide you with your custom endpoints where you will get the data that you need. Like in our case, it would be an endpoint with vote count, for instance. But right now, let's take a look at the database. There's also instructions for that in README, obviously. Okay, and let's take a look at what we have here. So you can see all the tables that we have. So we're storing the blocks, candidate, entities, mutations, and like all the other stuff. Basically, right now we're interested only in candidate entities because that's the database that we specified manually and that we have all the data in. And let's see what we have in this database. All right. Yeah, we have our candidates. So we have Ashoka the Great, Cleopatra VII and Confucius, and we have the number of votes for them, which is 0, 1, and 2. And like you can check it yourself against PARSIQ Tsunami API events, or against Etherscan, or against whatever you want. But trust me, this data is correct. And yeah, and basically that's it. That's what we wanted. We wanted to know the vote count for our voting contract. Yeah, note that this example is deliberately super simple, so that we will be able to show the basic concepts. But I would say that the most important thing here is that we can have the values that we don't have on the blockchain, that we don't have in blocks, in transactions, because you don't have vote count in the blockchain or on Etherscan or in some other places. So you can build a data lake for a well-known contract, a popular contract, and run your analytics on that. You can build a data lake for your own contract and like provide all the values to the users in your dashboard, and you can do a lot of other fun stuff. But yeah, that's basically everything I wanted to share today. So to recap what we've done, we've taken a look at a voting smart contract. We've taken a look at it using PARSIQ Tsunami API, and we got all the events at a candidate, and the same way we can track any other events. And then to have the vote count, we ran the data lake using PARSIQ SDK and calling Tsunami API automatically. Okay. That's the main part of our today's meeting. Now let me take a look at the chat to make sure that we have some questions there. Yeah, so the first question is there a pricing model for Tsunami API, or is it free to use? Yeah, there is a pricing model. Let me share it. Yeah, so I will stop the data lake from running now. So basically what it does, it went through the whole history, and when it has gone through the whole history, then it starts to work in real time. So you can power your applications with real-time data and with historical data in one go, basically. But yeah, let me stop it and let me show you the pricing model. Yeah, and also let me deprecate this private key so that you won't have a temptation to use it, right? Okay, so let's go to parsiq.net and let's see our pricing model here. So there is a free tier, and it's pretty useful when you need to just track some simple activity. It's useful, for instance, if you want to track your own wallets. You might get notifications about transactions, for instance, using our real-time filters, because we also have in our API, we have real-time streaming here. So in case you want to be notified about receiving some airdrops or other stuff, you can do it here, but that's not the topic of our today's workshop. I just wanted to mention that that's possible. Yeah. So a free tier, it's free and it's pretty useful. It has a lot of computational units, and it has some limitations as well, obviously, because it's free. But if that's not enough, then there is a pro tier. Yeah, I won't go through all the numbers. You can find them here in pricing, and then there is an enterprise tier. So in case you have a project and you have some serious data needs, you can contact us, and we'll discuss a custom pricing for you. We can build a data lake for you. We can like onboard you on how to use API in your case or SDK in your case. So just reach out to us and we'll do everything you need, right? Now the second question was which chains are supported by the API. Yeah, so let's take a look at this endpoint, for instance. So if we're talking about API, the whole set of these chains is supported, right? If we're talking about like balances and NFTs, there are like basically data lakes, and we are adding new chains there too. But basically this is the whole set for now, and we're constantly working on adding more chains. So if we're talking about main nets, it's Ethereum mainnet, BNB Smart Chain, Polygon proof of stake, and Polygon zkEVM. Then it's Avalanche C chain, Arbitrum 1, and Metis Andromeda. And then we have test nets as well. For Ethereum, it's Gurley and Sepolia. Also, there is BNB Smart Chain testnet, OP BNB testnet, and Polygon Mumbai. I believe OP BNB will be soon, will be available soon. I mean the mainnet. And then let's go to the third question. So these are the chains that we support, and we are constantly adding new ones. And if you are running a project on one of the new chains and you really need a data provider there, let us know, because like we have a list with priorities, and like if something influences these priorities, we take this into consideration, and we are constantly monitoring the space for which chains are more popular, which chains need more data support, and all the other stuff. Right, and then there's a third question, which is I'm semi-familiar with the Covalent API. Are there significant differences between that and the PARSIQ data lake? Yeah, thank you. That's actually a good question. So there are several data providers in the space. One of them, and one of our respected competitors, is Covalent. So if we're talking about Covalent API, then it makes sense to compare it to Tsunami API. Yeah, I believe I have taken a look at their API, and I believe both us and them, we have the list of all the basic endpoints that you might need, like transfers, token transfers, events, transactions, internal transactions. I'm not sure that they have internal transactions, but probably they do. But yeah, we definitely do have that. And yeah, so if we're talking about from feature standpoint, and we're talking about API, then features are basically the set of endpoints. Then I would say that all the data indexes are almost on the same page here. But probably the difference between some of them will be stuff like internal transactions. And also on top of that, we have a thing that is not very commonly used, but that's a unique one for us. We can filter function calls by function signature hash, right? Right here. That's the difference. And also, if we're talking not about the endpoints available, but about reliability and speed, so I don't think it's like a good thing to say directly that like we are faster or we are slower. I've run some comparisons, and yeah, basically all the tools do pretty well. So all the tools provide reasonable speed. So I wouldn't say that speed is an issue, but reliability is an issue, because for some of our competitors, I wouldn't say Covalent, but some of them, they were not providing consistent data for the calls that I ran as test calls. Yeah, frankly speaking, I believe Covalent did the best among the competitors that we took into consideration. I don't think I found any data inconsistencies there. Yeah, but if we compare PARSIQ against other competitors, then I would probably say that we might be more reliable. Because yeah, obviously it's pretty complicated. There are many blockchains, all of them have a lot of data, and data consistency is a serious problem. And our developers are working really hard to make sure that the data in our databases and that we provide using our API is consistent. And I believe in our case it is consistent because like reliability is our first priority. In some other cases it's not, but for Covalent I believe it's also at least pretty consistent. Yeah, but the question is, what if we compare Covalent against PARSIQ data lake? I think it would be correct to compare Covalent SDK to PARSIQ data lake. And I haven't got a chance to work with the SDK closely, so I can't say a lot on that. I think, though, that I'm not sure that they provide a service for building custom data lakes and running them on their premises. So as of my knowledge, that would be the main difference, that we can build a data lake for you, for your request. We can analyze like your smart contract, its logic, what values you want to calculate. We can run it on our hardware, and we can just provide you with the endpoints to get all the desired data. And then if we're talking about like comparing strictly SDKs, then yeah, I believe I will need to work with their SDK a bit to be able to share more on the differences. But yeah, but now I'm not, unfortunately. Okay, so are there any other questions? I will wait for a minute or two for more questions, and if we don't have any more, then we will call it for today. Questions, I will wait for yeah, okay, I think we don't have any more questions, and then that's it for today. Thank you guys for being with us. It's been a pleasure to share our product with you and to like share how to work with it, because basically, yeah, that's pretty interesting, and it warms our hearts to know that people are interested in that too, and that what we're doing is useful. I hope you found the information that we shared today useful too. So if you want to try it, please follow all the links that you will be able to find in the article that we will post and in the description of the video. You will have all the needed materials, the readmes, the documentation, it's all there. You can follow this video as well, because after the stream ends, it will be there on our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions, please make sure to reach out to us, because we try to be as responsive as possible, and we love sharing the knowledge and helping our users. And also, yeah, if you do that, especially with the SDK, but with API as well, please share any feedback. It will be super valuable for us to learn how your experience goes. Probably there might be some things to add to the docs, or you might discover some interesting use cases. All that will be super valuable. That's it. Thank you very much again. It was PARSIQ Tsunami API and SDK, PARSIQ team. Yeah, thanks a lot to our team for organizing this event, for getting so many viewers, and for like making it cool. And yeah, it's been me, Ivan from PARSIQ. Have a great evening, and a great week as well. Thank you. Bye.